Good evening. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of the Morris area and our co-sponsor, the Daily Record, I am pleased to welcome you to our Kinnelon Borough Council debate. My name is Joy Treef. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of the Morris area and a senior at Randolph High School. I have a strong interest in government and therefore am proud to be a part of an organization that encourages informed participation in our democracy. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization, and therefore we never support or oppose political parties or candidates. Elections and voting are our core concerns, and empowering voters defending democracy is our mission. We are committed to providing fact-based information about issues and the positions candidates take on those issues to help voters make their own decisions and participate in the electoral process. Membership in the League is open to all ages and gender identities. We welcome volunteers whether or not you are a member. With 100 years of experience, the League is one of America's oldest and most trusted civic nonprofit organizations. Our co-sponsor, the Daily Record, was not able to join us tonight, but on their behalf, I would like to read a few words. The Daily Record has covered Morris County since 1900 and is now part of the USA Today New Jersey network, covering breaking news, local, state, national, and global news, investigative journalism, topical features, scholastic and professional sports, and more both in print and at thedailyrecord.com. Additionally, we encourage everyone to go to vote411.org, a one-stop site for all information on all aspects of voting in New Jersey, including statements on the issues from your candidates. And please visit our website to learn more about the Morris Area League. And remember to make your vote count and vote in one of three ways. The first is by mail ballot if you signed up for that. The second is early in person using a voting machine from Saturday, October 25th, 2025 to Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. No appointment is necessary. Or third, in person on Tuesday, November 4th. This debate is being live streamed on the Morris Area League of Women Voters YouTube channel and will be available there for viewing afterwards. Other language captions will be available tomorrow on the stream. We encourage the sharing of the League's recording of this event in its entirety, but do not allow editing or making public any excerpts from the recording. The League's name, logo, event recording, or any materials from the event cannot be used in a way that could lead a viewer or reader to infer League support of or opposition to a candidacy. So at this time, I would like to introduce our moderator, Ms. Nancy Hedinger. Nancy is a League-trained moderator who is not from this voting district. She will introduce the candidates and outline the format for this evening.
Sorry. Thank you, Joy, and welcome everyone to the Kinnelon Borough Council Candidates Debate. I'm pleased to be with you tonight as your League of Women Voters moderator, and I'd like to start by thanking your candidates. Anthony, I'm going to do them in alphabetical order, Anthony Cherto, Gary Colombo, Eric Harris, and Randall White. The format for this evening's debate is as follows. The format will be divided into three parts. First, each candidate will deliver a 2-minute opening statement. Following opening statements, I will begin the question and answer portion of the evening's forum. The candidates will have 1 minute to answer each question, and each candidate will answer all of the questions. Our timekeeper, Diane Holland, will give a 30-second warning, followed by a stop sign, an alert, when the time is up. At that point, candidates will be allowed to finish their sentence, and we will move on. Time limits are strictly enforced. After all candidates have responded to a question, they may be offered an opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal for that question if they wish. Following the Q&A section, each candidate will deliver a 2-minute closing statement. And now we'll begin with the opening statements. And we are going to start that with Mr. Cherto.
Thank you, Nancy. First, I want to thank the League of Women Voters for putting on the debate so that the residents of Kinnelon can get to know a little bit about each of us. My name is Anthony Cherto. I'm a current councilman in Kinnelon. My wife, Christine, and daughter, Adeline, we moved to Kinnelon in 2018 and instantly fell in love with the community. Prior to Kinnelon, I did serve as a councilman for the Borough of Elmwood Park. I was also on the planning board there, very active with my church, earned the rank of Eagle Scout, fireman for 17 years. So when we moved to Kinnelon, I thought, you know what, let me just take a back seat and let me just be a regular resident. But that didn't last too long. I got a sewer and water bill and it just didn't seem right. So I said, you know what, let me start going to meetings. Started going to all the meetings in 2019, 20, 21, and 22. I'm a firm believer if that one day I was going to serve the community, I needed to learn and understand how Kinnelon operated. I was lucky and fortunate to be elected in 2023. Since then, I have served as a council president. For the last 3 years, I've been the finance chair, public safety chair, and together we've elevated our public safety by investing in upgrades of aged and delinquent equipment. On the financial side, we've passed one of the lowest tax increases in the last 6 years, while also paving a record number of streets. Recently we hold one of the highest municipal bond ratings. Only 5% of municipalities achieve that, and I'm very proud of those accomplishments. Professionally, for the first 8 years of my professional career, I served as an executive with the Boy Scouts of America, learning how to stretch that dollar in the nonprofit world. Last 10 years, I have been running a family-owned heating and air conditioning company and home heating oil company in Hawthorne. Moving to Kinnelon has been one of the best decisions of our life, and I hope to earn your support on November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Colombo.
Yes. So I'd like to also start off by thanking the league, for putting this on and getting us out there, letting the public see and get a chance to hear the candidates and who they are and what they stand for. So good evening, the league and Kinnelon. My name's Gary Colombo. I'm a combat wounded veteran and a Purple Heart recipient, a former volunteer and presently a career fireman, a small business owner, and a proud husband and father. Moved to Kinnelon in 2019. Love the area, love the peace, the quiet, the tranquility, the neighborhood. I'm also a union leader at work. Played not a huge part, but a considerable role in negotiating contracts and protecting the members' rights. I represent my entire shift as a union delegate, and I love this town. I don't like the way things are going. I don't like what I've seen since I've been here, some of the stuff I've seen. So I'm running to represent every single resident, regardless of political affiliation, age, race, gender, sexual orientation, or whether you have kids in the school system or not. My commitment to Kinnelon is to have a Kinnelon that works for all of us with true transparency, accountability, and the service will be the core of everything I do. Tonight, I'm here to share how my experience and dedication will build a stronger and more inclusive community for all of us.
Thank you. Mr. Harris.
Hi there. My name's Eric Harris. I'm a current councilman for Kinnelon, and I also would like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting this on and giving us the opportunity to basically talk to the residents of Kinnelon and let them know who we are. I'm the current ordinance chair for the council and also council president. My wife and I moved to Kinnelon in 2010 with our 3 children, Pierce, Ethan, and Amelia. And they went through the school system from Stony Brook to the high school. They graduated 5 years ago and they're out on their own now. I'm the former council personnel chair and successfully negotiated 3 union contracts for the borough. I'm also currently the memorial committee chair. And the purpose of that is to redesign and revitalize the deteriorating Veterans Memorial and make it more inclusive to all of the people in Kinnelon that actually support our community, the first responders as well as veterans. I'm an active Kinnelon volunteer fireman, as is Councilman Chirdo, and I'm a former Kinnelon wrestling coach. I worked with Sean Mabey, and that's essentially how I got introduced to the council. We had discussions about what was going on in town, what needed to be done, and so that piqued my interest, and I started coming to council meetings in 2018 and sitting in, and just felt that I could provide some additional support. I'm the past chair of the North Plainfield Historic Preservation Commission. I'm a 2-time Emmy Award-winning set designer at ABC Television. and I'm currently consulting with Atlantic Shore Restoration, which is a marine engineering company based here in Kinnelon, and I'm also a member of the Jacksonville Chapel, and I really look forward to tonight's debate.
Thank you. And last but not least, Mr. White.
Thank you, Nancy. So again, thank you to the League of Women Voters. It's our pleasure to be here and share our views of how Kinnelon should be managed. And I want to thank all the Kinnelon residents for getting up to speed on who the candidates are, what we stand for, and the policies that each of us bring to a council position. A little bit about myself. So my wife and I have been married for 22 years. We moved to Kinnelon in 2014, raised our family here. Very happy with living in Kinnelon. I think it's a delightful town, and the residents are truly a joy. Our son became an Eagle Scout. I got involved in the Kinnelon Troop 277. I'm an active adult leader, assistant scoutmaster, and high adventure coordinator, and dedicate my time, talent, and treasure to this great cause each and every week. So dedicating my time to the youth of Kinnelon, making sure that we help bring these young boys, turn them into competent young men. Professionally, my careers and my skill set's a little bit different than most that serve in a municipal capacity. So I'm a business owner. I was trained in the corporate world as an information technology auditor, and served as in an overseas capacity. And but myself and my company, I have a data consulting company that's very profitable for 18 years. And myself and my colleagues travel the world and teach C-level executives how to use their data to reduce cost, reduce risk, and to increase profit. And with that skill set, I'm confident that we'll be able to reduce some of the unnecessary cost in Kinnelon. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we'll move on to our questions. The first question I have, and we will start with Mr. White. First question we have is, if elected, what would you like Kinnelon to look like in 4 years? And what are your main priorities?
Great question. So when we are elected, I would like to make sure that Kinnelon stays a vibrant, natural community. We live in a watershed area, and it's very important that our water resources that serve communities downstream stay clean and free of contaminants. So what I would prefer is that we do not develop Kinnelon too much further, keep it in its natural state, and ensure that there's fiscal discipline and reduction in taxes or expenses to reduce an increase in taxes anytime that we have the opportunity. We're independents. I value every person's view to be able to make this community better, and I will bring that view to the council seat. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, same question.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Sure. If elected, what would you like Kinnelon to look like in 4 years, and what are your main priorities?
So people move to Kinnelon and stay in Kinnelon because of our access to open space and the small town feel, the bedroom community. That's something that's very, very important to preserve here in Kinnelon. So over the course of the next 4 years, we should be looking to maintain and improve access to the natural areas. We should be maintaining and supporting our infrastructure and providing for the safety and welfare of the citizens. Doing all that while at the same time keeping taxes low and supporting property values. We have very little developable space, commercial space here in Kinnelon, so we need to invite the kind of businesses that are going to improve the standard of living here for our residents, and to also infuse much needed commercial tax monies to reduce the tax burden on our residents.
Thank you. Mr. Colombo. same question.
Yes, so in 4 years, I'd like to see Kinnelon, not that it's anything's wrong with Kinnelon, but I'd like to see it better than it is. Um, if I'm elected, one of my main priorities is keeping Kinnelon green. Um, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Too many of the parcels of land that should be untouched are being mismanaged. Um, I would play a great role in preventing backdoor development deals that sneak up to the council floor for a vote without the taxpayers being informed or involved. Um, and I'd like to see things that don't need to happen not happen. Just basically, I moved here because I love this area. It's quiet, it's green, it's natural, and I'd just like to see that get better.
Thank you. Mr. Trudeau, same question.
Thank you. So, Kinnelon, in 4 years, we've done a tipping point of chipping away at our public safety. A big investment should be continued into public safety, continuing our staggered approach to replacing our engines, our tankers, and continue on that. Our roads program, infrastructure, red, yellow, green, where our red roads, our yellow roads, our green roads, and how we prioritize that. We kicked off a recreation vision plan this past year, and I think that will start to flourish and hopefully be completed in the next 4 years, because we need to make sure that we invest in our facilities, our rec programs. I'd love to see an amazing, amazing playground in Kinnelon that families will come to, and just for all ages. So those are some of the ideas of Kinnelon in 4 years.
Thank you. Next question, and we'll start with Mr. Colombo. And the question is, how will you balance maintaining the quality of life and necessary services in Kinnelon while also controlling taxes?
Thank you for the question. So that's a delicate balance. And like my running mate, Mr. White said, you can reduce expenditures and thus waste, fraud, and abuse and save money that way. And as a result, not need to increase taxes. But I'd like to see a more modernized and streamlined fire department and emergency services. Having a career in public service and emergency service, emergency management, there's things that should be funded and there's things that shouldn't be funded. And I would move in the direction to fund all necessary programs, initiatives, finding grants, sourcing money, to make the public services here more modern and streamlined and up to date without putting that bill on the taxpayer.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, same question.
So Kinnelon Council does look into grants and things like that to fund as much as possible. We also look at our budget. One of the things that we've done, and actually immediately did upon being voted into council, was to look at the budget, look at the expenditures, look at what was being allocated to different things. One of the things that we found was that in the recycling department, there was monies that were being spent way beyond what they should have been, actually 10 times what they should have been in spending for recycling pickup. And we basically renegotiated that contract. It went from $25,000 a month on recycling to $2,500 a month. And that's what we've been doing across the board, looking at the budget, looking at expenses, reducing where we can to make sure that money that we have is being spent appropriately, moving it to areas where it needs to be spent and taking it away from areas where it's being wasted.
Thank you. Mr. White.
I'd ask Nancy if you could repeat the question, please.
Sure. How will you balance maintaining the quality of life and necessary services in Kinnelon while controlling taxes?
Excellent. So I had mentioned earlier the skill set I bring to this position, which is one of technology innovation. And I think based on the time that I've spent investigating the Kinnelon municipality, I've noticed that Kinnelon is desperately in need of innovation to be able to reduce expense. In my first month in the position, I commit to take the documentation that is created within the municipality in the form of ordinances, which are not searchable. And the only way to be able to see them is to read them and to make them searchable and indexed so that anyone can come in and get information that they need on the municipality very quickly. It's a quick way to be able to reduce expense by promoting a self-service to the community. But I'd like to be able to talk about other innovations that I plan to bring to the position. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Trudeau, same question?
Thank you, Nancy. As finance chair, the first thing we did was we go line by line in the municipal budget. We've passed one of the lowest tax increases in the last 6 years, but yet we've paved 50 streets in the last 3 years. We've purchased a fire engine, a fire tanker. We've invested in fixing drainage issues within the town. And how we do that is by no peaks and valleys in our tax rates. We want to make sure that our community can predict where our tax rate will be. Nobody wants to do a 0 tax increase one year and then 120 the next year. That doesn't help. So we want to keep a stable tax increase, plan for debt, cancel outstanding debt that hasn't been used. That's what we did. That's why we were able to pave a lot of streets. There was a lot of outstanding debt within the community that was on our books that was never used. So we canceled that, we repurposed it, and that's the path we want to continue. We want to be able to keep everything stable.
Thank you. Next question. Where does Kinnelon stand on its affordable housing obligations, and how would you like to see those obligations fulfilled? And we start this question with Mr. Harris.
So we've just gone through the 4th round of affordable housing. And one of the things we did was to hire a planner, Beth McManus, to advise us on what we should be doing, how we should be looking at that, how we can keep the affordable housing requirements by the state as low as possible for Kinnelon. One thing that was done a few years ago was to do an overlay of the commercial space so that we could place affordable housing in certain areas and preserve that small town bedroom type community feel, which is something that's very, very valuable, I know, to pretty much everyone here in Kinnelon. So we have done that, and it is something that going forward, if we need to adjust, then we will do that with the help of the professionals that we've hired.
Thank you. Mr. Colombo.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Where does Kinnelon stand on its affordable housing obligations, and how would you like to see those obligations fulfilled?
So I'd like to see those obligations fulfilled. Obviously, they have to be fulfilled, right? I'd like to see them fulfilled honestly and transparently. Not with members of the council meeting with a hired planner outside of a quorum and then bringing something to the floor to be jammed down the taxpayers' throats, again, without any information or understanding of what's going on. And I'd also like to see, I would not like to see a 55 and older community that gets turned into something other than what it was purposed for, that would destroy the town in taxes and overwhelm the school system. And I think in the spirit of transparency, the town should know about what's currently going on and what the options are on the table for what's proposed to turn into something that's not been proposed.
Thank you. Mr. Trudeau.
Thank you. So where the current community stands, about 2 years ago, the mayor created a redevelopment committee comprised of members of the council and members of the planning board. Like Councilman Harris said, we hired a municipal planner based on affordable housing. This redevelopment committee did meet with the 3 different developers within the community, and we learned a lot. We learned that the property owner of the Kinnelon Mall doesn't wish to build anything. We learned that the Lowe's property is landlocked and nothing can really be built there. The only viable project that is going on is in the Meadtown Midtown Shopping Center across from the sports club and abandoned movie theater will be redeveloped into a mixed use. And in that sense of transparency, the municipality has had 3 public meetings on this, and there are meetings to come so that we can get everybody's input. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. White.
And if you could repeat the question again,
Yes,
Nancy, if you
yes.
don't mind.
No problem. Where does Kinnelon stand on its affordable housing obligations, and how would you like to see those obligations fulfilled?
So the affordable housing obligations are obligations. So there's requirements that Kinnelon, just like any other municipality, must follow. What a competent council needs to do is to make sure that it balances the obligations with the taxpayers' rights to keep their property values high. And like Gary Colombo mentioned, not overwhelm the school system and require additional spending to be able to accommodate, large amounts of folks that aren't paying the same amount of taxes. Mr. Turdo raised a investment or a potential property across from the sports facility in Kinnelon. One thing I think that's important is that we keep the height restrictions as they are and don't expand them beyond the current requirements in Kinnelon. Otherwise, there's additional expense that's going to be borne by the taxpayer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our 4th question, we're going to start this one with Mr. Colombo. Several New Jersey towns and municipalities are entertaining proposals for warehouse developments. Would you support or oppose a proposal or proposals for warehouses in Kinnelon? If so, why? And if not, why not? And we'll start with Mr. Colombo.
If the space allows, and I don't see a major issue with it, but what I would personally do is I would bring that to the town in a way where everyone's voice was heard and let the town decide. I wouldn't let that be a 6-person decision to influence the entire municipality and everyone else's wallet. I don't make decisions on how other people spend their money, and I certainly wouldn't make a decision as a councilman to put a burden on someone because of what I felt. Something like that, I would find a way for the council to bring that to the town and have the majority of the town's people heard and make a decision based off their opinion.
Thank you. Mr. Turdo, same question?
So Kinnelon's 97% preservation area, and in regards to warehouse, I think the key is we want to make sure that we keep Kinnelon preserved. There's limited areas to even put a large scale type of development like that. The only possibility would be that property on the other side of Route 23. But I do agree we would want to make sure that we get community input if anything like that was to happen. But thankfully, luckily, we are in the preservation area, and I don't think that would even be an option for the community.
Okay, Mr. White, same question.
I'm not aware of any plan to bring a warehouse into Kinnelon, but that being said, every opportunity to increase the rateables taxes, corporate taxes, to reduce the tax burden on the Kinnelon residents is welcomed, as long as it stays within, some of the guidelines to make sure, as I mentioned earlier, we live in a watershed community. So keeping Kinnelon green is, I think, a common goal of all of our residents, and avoiding unnecessary development that could harm or hinder our outdoor space, I think should be avoided. I did hear mention of hiring practices, and I hope we get a chance to ask some questions to the current councilman about their hiring practices, because I think that there's a need to be able to reevaluate how folks are hired into this municipal government. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, same question.
So as it's been stated before, there's very little developable land here in Kinnelon. There's the property that's behind or in front of, depending on how you look at it, at down by the sports club. There's the property across the highway behind Lowe's. There's existing property, Kinnelon Mall, Midtown Shopping Center. So when you really think about it, you would probably have to lose something to gain warehousing here in Kinnelon. I don't think we want to lose many of the things we already have. However, if a developer and has access to property and wants to do that, we would have to consider it. Again, we need to talk about green space and watershed property. What is going to be in these warehouses? If we're storing salt or something like that, that's probably not something that we really want to start storing chemicals, that sort of thing. So the question is, what's going to be in there before we can start building, even considering building?
Thank you. The next question, and we'll start with Mr. Harris. Some municipalities in our state have entered into formal shared services agreements with school districts and other municipalities. I'm not from Kinnelon, so I'm not really sure what shared services you already have. So you can share that with us when you answer the question. But would you support exploring shared services for Kinnelon? And if they already exist, would you support continuing them? And if you could provide examples, that would be great. And this one, we start with Mr. Harris.
Sure. So Kinnelon does have a robust shared services system. The DPW shares services with Butler and Bloomingdale for DPW type services, leaf vacuuming, things like that. We share services with our construction office, and we have to look at the success of that right now. And we have mutual aid agreements with our fire companies. And we also don't really share services on the police side, but we do trade back and forth, supporting other municipalities. So we definitely enjoy the benefits and cost savings of shared services, and we will definitely be continuing those and looking at how to improve them in the future.
Thank you. Mr. White.
Thank you. So one of the shared services I'd like to talk about a little bit is the emergency services, 911. And I know that there was a proposal in the past to be able to at least consider partnering with the county to be able to provide emergency services when there's a 911 call. Currently, there's a process where those 911 calls get routed into Butler, and there have been residents that have experienced a busy signal when they have an emergency. I think that's something that all of us need to work to prevent. When there's an emergency, there needs to be all hands on deck to resolve it in our community and elsewhere. And I think that there's an opportunity to be able to provide a more efficient, lower cost service, partnering with the county to be able to address emergencies when they arise.
Thank you. Mr. Cherto, same question.
Thank you. So Kinnelon participates in a lot of shared services. Our construction department, fire prevention. We have a dial-a-ride program with 5 other communities. Like Mr. White said, our after-hour shared service with dispatching is with Butler. Kinnelon has a lot of shared services with other communities. What I'd love to see is Kinnelon have other communities come to us for our shared services. Our court system, I'd love to have communities come to us and share our courts. I'd love to, one thing, our DPW, we purchased and invested a lift. We have a licensed mechanic. We're working to see how we can work with our Board of Education so that we can fix their vehicles. We participate in a lot of shared services and we push a lot of stuff out. Now we're working to try to see how we can attract other communities to Kinnelon so that we can generate some of that revenue instead of sharing it with the other communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Colombo?
So from personal experience, shared services is a double-edged sword. It's either a phenomenal program or a complete nightmare. I work in a third largest fire department in the state. We cover Union City, West New York, North Bergen, Guttenberg, and Weehawken. I serve over 2 million people a day, and that's just residents, not including the people that commute in and out. 5 mayors, 5 different fire departments that regionalize sometimes can be a complete nightmare. 5 different attitudes, 5 different opinions, 5 different contracts. Okay. The 911 shared services agreement in Kinnelon, absolute nightmare. If you call the desk after a certain time for a true life-threatening emergency and Butler has someone on the line, you just get disconnected. And I believe it's on the third try you get sent to the county, where the county, if we just went with the county, you call a dispatch center, one person is listening to you, one person is dispatching the necessary services that you need, and the other one, very vital, important jobs that these people are doing. And to save a little bit of money, this borough refuses to do that. Instead, they took a borough manager, right?
And
And
you know what, you can
promoted
put
him
this in
to
your closing, unless somebody
yeah,
wants.
this is my so just to finish my sentence, if they didn't pay a police director $150,000 a year, we have a police chief that's more than capable. Those funds would be way better off
Okay,
getting rid of some shared services that are a complete nightmare.
thank you.
Can I just rebuttal there for a second?
Yes,
We don't hire, we have no one with a police director title in the municipality.
Can I?
yes,
Okay. We have a gentleman, it's in the council minutes, who is the director of the police. I'm unsure of his title, but he runs the police department. He's in charge of the police, and the chief of police answers to him. Unequivocally true.
Oh, the borough administrator.
well,
Borough administrator who's been retitled and given a pay raise, who now is in charge of the police department.
No, that's not true.
May I make a
does
rebuttal?
anybody else? Yeah, Mr.
to
Hurd.
that? That's absolutely not true. The duties and responsibilities of the borough administrator have always been the same as they are. They've just been clarified for the benefit of understanding how we manage the system. And I got to say, we addressed this idea of the 911 very recently. We upgraded the emergency dispatch desk that was failing, and I actually personally went to the county, reviewed their system, and it is not sufficient for the borough. It does not solve any problems for emergency dispatch.
Thank you.
If I could rebut, please.
Mr. Colombo, you've had your rebuttal. Mr. White will get a rebuttal.
So both Mr. Churdo and Mr. Harris brought up the borough administrator's name is Craig Ambrosio. I spoke earlier about the hiring practices within this municipality, and what is the duty of this council is to make sure that each person that's hired is the best and most qualified candidate for the position. Craig Ambrosio is an example of a political hire. There was no review of resumes. There was no discussion amongst other councilmen before this person, who's never had a business administrator position in his past, was hired.
Thank you.
As Mr. Colombo said, just given a raise.
Thank you. Next question. Where we have
Who is this directed to?
it? I will tell you. It starts with Mr. White. How would you approach disagreements with fellow council members and the mayor? And we'll start with Mr. White.
Sure. So in my professional career, I'm a politician every day. Myself and my team are salesmen, and we reach agreements with those that have contrasting ideals and ideas, and we reach consensus every day. In the municipal government, it's very similar. So building alliances, finding common themes, common ground, and highlighting the benefits to the community first. So how would we, I think the question was, how would we address disagreements?
Mm-hmm.
They're inevitable, right? So everyone's going to be bringing different ideas. What I and Mr. Colombo promote is the community involvement. So what's sorely lacking within this municipality is to have the community actively involved in discussions on policy within the municipality. And much of that is caused by a lot of the process that's followed within this municipality, which we will change.
Thank you. Mr. Churdo.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat the question, please?
Yes, how would you approach disagreements with fellow council members and the mayor?
Thank you. So the best way is communication. Communication, don't harbor any ill feelings. The key in this role is you never take anything personal. There's going to be disagreements because we all care about the same thing. We're all passionate about the community. And when you're passionate and your views are passionate, disagreements happen. Whether it's when I serve here in Kinnelon or when I served in Elm Park, it's the same thing. Communication, 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 and making sure that you allow each side to talk, making sure that you do get that input. Our council meetings are open to anybody. So we encourage everybody to come listen to the discussions, listen to the arguments. But at the end of the day, we're always going to make sure that there's a concise decision to do what's right for the community.
Thank you. Mr. Colombo.
So throughout my entire life, when I was in the military and I was overseas in Iraq, I fought shoulder to shoulder with people of every race, color, creed, gender, sexual orientation, political affiliation, religion, you name it, I was there with them. People I consider brothers and sisters to this day. Same thing at work. I go into fires with guys at work, and it doesn't matter what you are, who you date, who you marry, who you pray to, right? We work together, and some of those guys that are complete opposites of me are my best friends. I agree with Mr. Chierdo. Communication is a huge part of it. But when the communication's lacking and there's a lot of mistruths and misinformation that get passed to the public and just voted on, like the issue with the police desk, you could have $1 million police desk at midnight when the lights are off and no one's staffing it. It doesn't work. So when things don't work, I'll stand by my beliefs and I'll stand with the taxpaying residents of Kinnelon. I'm not running for this position for what I want. I'm running for this position for what the residents of Kinnelon want, and they'll get it on my behalf.
Thank you. Mr. Harris.
Disagreements are inevitable. And frequently, Anthony and I have disagreed. I've disagreed with Sean. I disagreed with Ron and also with Bob Lewis. But what the really important thing is respect. We have to respect each other. We also have to treat each other like we are a family. You don't always agree with your family, but we really are. The reason why we're family is because we're here to improve Kinnelon. Our goal, the reason why we're here on council, is to improve Kinnelon, to provide for Kinnelon, to provide for the safety and welfare of our residents. And if we can remember that, why we're here, then eventually we will come to some sort of resolution about what we're going to do and how we should do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is the last question I
Could I
have.
rebut, if I could, Nancy,
absolutely.
please?
I'm sorry.
Just quickly, let me explain for the Kinnelon residents the reality of the municipality in Kinnelon. Nancy, the question was about disagreements with the mayor or other councilmen. When it comes to Anthony Chierdo and Eric Harris, there aren't any disagreements with the mayor. In reality, there are a block of 4 councilmen that always vote together. It is Anthony Chierdo, Eric Harris, Sean Mabey, and Cindy Frank. Those 4 have the majority. They only bring to the municipality the ideas that they're interested in, and they only vote for those policies that they're interested in. There are no disagreements amongst that block. That's why Gary and I are running.
Anthony Chierdo.
Thank you, Nancy. So what you might see that we vote together, because that's what you see with the public at the public meetings. Work sessions are a whole different story. We go back and forth across the table, and with no disrespect to our other candidates here, but if you come to the meetings, you would see those kind of things. We bicker back and forth, what's right, what's wrong. But the goal is that when you come in front of the public, you want to make sure that you're a team. And that's what we want to portray in Kinnelon, that we work together as a team.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Harris.
Mr. White said that Anthony and I never disagreed with the mayor. I personally can refute that because an issue of the dog park came up recently, and the mayor is very much in favor of a dog park. I personally am not necessarily in favor of a dog park, but given the fact that there is a lot of interest in the possibility of putting a dog park in Kinnelon, I am open to the possibility. And depending upon what the other interest is from the rest of council, I would conceivably support that if that's something that we as a group decided.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Colombo. You're on mute.
the issue of the dog park, whether they agree or disagree. And I don't know why Mr. Harris disagreed. I don't know why the mayor disagreed with Mr. Harris. But I know that's been proposed to be built on Green Acres land. And maybe that's Mr. Harris's objection to it. Maybe it's not. Who knows? On the, let me touch on the
30 seconds.
the workshop meetings. Mr. White's been to numerous workshop meetings as well as multiple supporters of ours. Things are decided between those four council members before the workshop starts, and they just iron out the details and iron out the vote before it goes to the council meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, the final question we have is, may not be an issue in Kinnelon, but where do you stand on recreational cannabis dispensaries in Kinnelon and the tax revenue potential they represent? And this one, we'll start with Mr. Chertow.
Thank you. So when it comes to the cannabis issue for myself, we're very limited in where those avenues can go. But I personally, I'm not a real big fan of it within the community, and that's just kind of where I stand on that.
Okay, Mr. Hoyt.
I don't promote the use of marijuana, I never will. And I think we're setting the wrong example to our children if we're supporting businesses that profit from spreading what I consider to be poor conduct across the community. So even though it is an opportunity to be able to reduce taxes, which I'm all for, I think there's some principles involved, and supporting cannabis dispensaries in Kinnelon, I think, is a bad idea.
Thank you. Mr. Harris.
So for those people that are actually interested in using cannabis, we are surrounded by quite a few places where cannabis is vended, and they can find that there. I live in a household where some people are pro-cannabis and some people are against cannabis. I personally am not in favor of cannabis. I think that it, and maybe I'm an old fogey and stodgy, but I think it lowers interest in motivation. It lowers motivation personally. So if it's a lifestyle choice, if you're choosing to do it, that's your business. It's legal in the state of New Jersey. I don't support bringing places to vend cannabis into Kinnelon because there are ample places nearby to do it. Thank you.
Yeah. And Mr. Colombo, same question.
So as all the other candidates said, there's maybe a spot in Kinnelon small enough to squeeze one in. I don't disagree with the use of it. I don't agree with the use of it, but I'm not in favor of a dispensary within the borough limits. Like Mr. Harris said, there's plenty of places that you wouldn't even know you weren't in Kinnelon, because 2 feet over is Kinnelon, where you could go get it if you so desire. So again, I wouldn't support a dispensary within the borough limits.
Okay, thank you. That actually brings us to the end of my prepared questions. So unless anybody has a rebuttal to that one, we can move on to the closing statements. And this time we'll be doing them in reverse order, and we'll start with Mr. Hoyt.
Thank you, Nancy. And again, thanks to the League of Women Voters for sponsoring this great opportunity to be able to share our views across the community in Kinnelon. For those watching in residents of Kinnelon, I want you to imagine a town where when your taxes are going to be raised, you're involved in that discussion to be able to provide opportunities to be able to reduce the cost and offset that tax burden. Imagine a community where when employees are being hired into the municipality, such as I mentioned Craig Ambrosio, no competition, just a political hire that insulated other members of the community, of the council. The same is true for the current borough attorney, Brian Giblin. There was no review of resumes for attorneys. Mr. Chertow brought Mr. Giblin in from Elmwood Park, and he contributes to a enormous expense within this town that is truly unwarranted. If you look at Mr. Giblin's financial disclosure, you will see that he supports 11 municipalities across the state. 10 of them are from Bergen County. Okay, we're the only one in Morris County. There is ample opportunity within Kinnelon to be able to reduce expense, and that reducing the expenses of a borough attorney is a gold mine. Imagine a community where the policies that are promoted within the community are legal every time. There's two examples since I've been investigating the inner working of this municipality where they promoted policies that were illegal. And in both times I brought it to their attention and they ended up getting scrapped. But these things are what we should expect as a community, and you're not getting today from your current council. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harris.
Thank you. I just want to say that I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about my points of view here for council. And thanks to the League of Women Voters, we really appreciate your doing this for us. I have to say that I completely disagree, surprisingly or not surprisingly, with Mr. White on his assessment of council. We work very, very hard to make sure that everything we do is perfectly legal. And that's why we have counsel in Brian Giblin. One of the reasons why I was not in favor of retaining Ed Buzak was because I didn't feel he was serving counsel appropriately. I know that that was not the opinion of Bill Yago or Vince Russo or Randall Charles, but they are no longer council people. And I feel like we've made a tremendous choice in bringing Brian Giblin in. He is always accessible. We actually use him so much more than what we were able to use Ed Buzak. So I think that he was a fantastic choice. Craig Ambrosio is also a fantastic choice for the borough. He has the reason we brought him on board was because of his innate ability to learn the job, hit the ground running, and he has done, I think, a fantastic job. I don't know about this pay raise that you're claiming that we've given him. He's actually feels possibly like he's a little underpaid. So, and we're making sure that we're getting value for the money that we are actually paying him. Anyway, so I really love doing this job. I've been doing it for 3 years. I went to council meetings for 2 years prior to getting this job, and I'd like to continue doing it for the next 3 years, at least, and possibly longer. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Colombo, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And thank you to the league for putting this on and giving us a chance to get our message out there and get introduced to the public. Perfect example straight from Mr. Harris, and I'm glad this is recorded, waste, fraud, and abuse. The Borough of Kinnelon, the councilman voted, and their practice of hiring is to hire people who have the innate ability to learn a job they're not qualified for. In Mr. Harris's own words, the pay raise that Mr. Ambrosio got, it's in the minutes, which have been, and the video recording of the minutes that have been removed from the website. My pledge to the Kinnelon voters, I will represent every single one of you with integrity and an unwavering commitment to our community's future. My entire life, I swore an oath to the Constitution to uphold and defend it, and that's what I will do for you, regardless of who you are or what you believe in. Your voice matters, and you have a choice. Let's build a Kinnelon that is truly transparent, accountable, and thriving for all. I ask for your vote to serve on the municipal council, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. Chertoff.
Thank you. Thank you again for hosting tonight, and hopefully the Kinnelon residents got an insight on who the options are. I save. I'm a penny pincher. Mr. White, we moved from a borough attorney who charged us by the hour, charged us for text messages, charged us for email conversations. Mr. Giblin is a flat rate attorney. We can call him 24/7. He's a cost savings to our municipality. When it comes to transparency, we moved from Facebook to YouTube. Facebook is just not doing it anymore. We need to move to a platform that can access from anyone. You don't need a Facebook account to view our meetings. Our meetings are open to the public, and even if you don't come to the meetings and you don't have the internet, we put together a community newsletter that gets mailed to every single resident in our community because we want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, because sometimes things are missed when you're not able to come to a meeting. Councilman Harris and I, we've probably knocked on over 1,500 doors in town, and we ask the same thing every single time. How are we doing? We want to know how we're doing, the good, the bad, because we need to know how to make Kinnelon better. If you heard anything tonight that you said, "Whoa, what was that about?" just shoot me an email. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. I never have. I live by the Scout oath and law: trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent every single day. And Kinnelon deserves leaders who listen, who act with integrity. And that's the approach that we take each and every day with our residents, our borough employees, our volunteers, to make decisions that keep Kinnelon strong, safe, and affordable. So just as I did 3 years ago, I ask for your support again on November 4th to elect myself and Councilman Harris, because we still have a lot more work to keep Kinnelon moving forward. So thank you again for being here tonight and for caring about our community and giving myself and Councilman Harris an opportunity to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, looks like our time is up for this evening. I want to thank the candidates for their participation this evening and for sharing their thoughts on these questions for the community. And I want to thank you, the voters of Kinnelon Borough, for watching the live stream or hopefully later on YouTube. An educated voter is important. I also want to remind everyone that there are 3 ways you can vote. You can apply for a mail-in ballot application, and it must be received by the county clerk by October 28th. And you can get those applications online. You can go to vote411.org to find that, or you can go to the county clerk's website, print them out, fill them out, and submit them. In person, you can vote early in person using a voting machine during the early voting period from October 25th to November 2nd, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays, and on Saturdays from 10 to 6, and Sundays, I'm sorry, weekdays and Saturdays, 10 to 8, and on Sunday, 10 to 6. And in person at your polling location on November 4th from 6 to 8. Sorry. Thank you again for participating, and I wish you all a good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.